Hey everyone, welcome to the March edition of the Agile at Scale meetup. It has been a while. I think it was last October when we had our last one, so we had a nice little break, but happy to be back in the saddle and seeing some familiar faces on the call, and looking forward to having a great presentation today. So, in general, our mission is to connect and foster growth in terms of not just the community of Austin at large, but people all over the United States and even the world now. Agile Austin was incorporated a while back as a nonprofit, and so we just love to do education and various different events, including ones like this. So our board is going to be up for election soon, so look for more communication on that soon. But yeah, I'm our CTO, Sid, our president, Lonnie, Alex, Jenny. We're all excited about today's presentation, obviously, but all the other great SIGs that we have in our upcoming conference, which we'll talk about in just a moment. So, and just wanted to say a quick thank you and shout out to our sponsors, Agile Velocity, ResumeX, Agile Coaching, and Agile Velocity. They have a coupon you can use. Agile Austin will get you 15% off one of their public workshops. So check them out. Longtime partner of the Agile Austin organization. I've loved working with them. And if you're interested in being a sponsor, that's what keeps these programs free and education opportunities available to so many of us. So feel free to reach out to us at contact@agileaustin.org. And if you want to become a member, I believe Max can talk about it, but I think we also have a special for the upcoming conference, but usually it's a $35 fee. Lots of good benefits from that. And we also have a bunch of different meetups. I think the most active ones, actually, in a few hours, Matt Roberts will be leading the product and AI SIG. So check that out on our meetup.com/Agile Austin page. We still have a book club that is continuing on. And so and Max also leads the Leader SIG, which is our longest running SIG. Much to my chagrin, I used to have the longest running one, but what can you do? So. Upcoming events. I'm going to
It's
pass
okay
it
to
off
be
to Matt.
second. So
As Ricky Bobby said in Talladega Nights, if you're not first, you're last. So unfortunately, I'm last. All right. So Max, if you want to talk to us about
yeah,
our upcoming conference in just a couple of weeks' time.
yeah. Thank you, Ben. Can you hear me well? Yes, yes. Because my biggest fear is the fear of not being heard. So, folks, Max Akesi here in Austin, been involved with Agile Austin since back in the day, 2010. Wow, time flies. Time flies. We have our 13th, edition of our annual Keep Austin Agile conference coming up on Friday, April 10th. So from today, it's 2 weeks. It's happening. And it's happening, folks. We've got great keynote speakers, great speakers, and I'm not just saying that because I am a speaker back again after a long time. But we're have a theme of value at the speed of life because we want to focus on delivering customer value faster and better. And we're going to have a lot of great speeches and presentations on that panelist and et cetera, et cetera. It's the whole day, breakfast, lunch, as much coffee as you can drink, happy hour, all on Friday the 10th. And I'll just end with we just communicated out not so April Fool's joke. On the first, if you buy, and this is the first central time, okay, if you buy a ticket, you get one free. But you don't have to wait till then to do it. But we thought, let's go with it. So hope to see you all there. It's a hybrid conference. You can be in person or virtually. So please, from wherever you are, you can be part of our Value at the Speed of Light conference. Thank you, Ben.
All right. Thanks so much, Max. And yeah, I'll be manning the Zooms on that day and remote myself. So look forward to hopefully seeing some of your faces there virtually as well if you can't make it in person. So yeah, Leland and I have been running this for a number of years now. Leland started 2016. I joined 2020, so 6 years and strong for me. And yeah, really enjoyed it and all the great different presentations. So we have a pretty blank slate coming up. And so if you're interested in presenting, it would be great to hear from you. So feel free to reach out on Zoom or got some contact information on the next slide. But today's presentation, Ludwig will be taking us through scaling continuous improvement with AI-driven agility. So, um, uh, again, leland.newsome at agileaustin.org, ben.rogers at agileaustin.org. Reach out if you are interested in presenting. And Ludwig, if you are ready, I'm going to pass it on over to you.
Thanks, Ben, and I am ready, but due to my little mistake here, I think I need to ask for permissions. We didn't have time to.
Ah, yes.
Let's
Let
see if
me,
that's here. I'm sharing my full desktop to here, so just one moment. Mm-hmm.
I'm going to make you a co-host.
Great. Oops. I'm sorry. I need to briefly leave this meeting, but come right back because
Okay.
I need to restart my. Okay, so sorry for that. We're right with you.
No worries. In the meantime, Max, you've got a leader sig, I believe, next week. What's the topic going to be?
Yeah, I will. But first, I'd like to ask everybody, in honor of our upcoming POC conference, Value at the Speed of Light, can you folks do the emoji of the rocket like I'm doing? Do you see that? It's like, it's actually our symbol on the site. Oh, Ben is able to do it. Way to go, Ben. There you go. Can other people figure it out and do a rocket emoji? There you go, Lauren. Good. Hey, David. Uh, I was just gonna say I will put in the chat the link to like the leader sig next week. We're talking about an adaptable, changing, agile environment in this days of AI and all the various stuff. How to lead that transformation. But you are back. Thank you. Hey,
I am back.
Ludwig.
Yes, and it seems to be working all good. I'm that kind of personality that checks everything in advance and get all good. But then I did this mistake, so it's quite uncomfortable for me. But it's cool. I'm cool. So I'm Ludwig. I'm calling in all the way from the west coast of Sweden. Still daylight here. But after this talk, I will for sure have a beer or maybe a glass of wine. So I met you at, I think it was Ben, at the Scale Agile conference in Denver, and then we talked about this and afterwards, and you asked me to come to share the same slide deck, which I will of course do. Just a quick story about this slide deck. I'm not a master of creating nice slide decks. Actually, I was asked the very same thing from a consultancy company in London, flying me over and everything, and they took a look at my slide deck and say, "Nah, we can't have that." So they rebranded it. They did it all new. But hey, the content is there, so I hope that you will enjoy. Okay, so this is about real data, real improvement, whatever that means. But I'll walk you through it. I think a general trend in many agile industries now, or agile applications, is that we're getting mature, right? So I'm quite seasoned within Scale Agile. I'm an SPCT candidate, and I see some trends that we're not talking about transformations any longer, right? We're more talking about how can we improve from where we're at. So we have this conference that you're having next week with delivering at speed of light. So we want to emphasize this that what we're doing is good, but we can get better. And then you could do some guesswork on this, but I'd rather use good, solid data to base the improvements on. Just a little bit about me. I'm a father of three, all teenagers. I still love them. And I'm a runner. and I'm also a singer. So once I actually sang solo for the Swedish king. How about that? And that's pretty much what you need to know about me for now. So improvements. My experience tells me that there are a bunch of leaders all over, right? And we all want to improve from where we're at. So you could be this kind of leader in a team. It could be a team member. It could be a Scrum Master, AP, or a product owner, or whatever it within the team, right? You could also be a leader between teams, taking care of many teams, such an RTE or maybe a competence lead or some manager of some kind. And you can be these kind of leaders that are sort of having an oversight of the full portfolio or organization. So then you need to have a bigger scope there. So also, my experience tells me that all these leaders, they have the same needs. They want to understand the strengths and the weaknesses from where they're at. They want to know how can we improve. So get some suggestions on that. And maybe the most important questions is how can I support as an individual, right? And you got this classic way, I'm sure you're aware of it. It's the Agile assessments, business agility assessments. This goes like you're asking leaders a bunch of questions, typically on the core competencies, and this would know where you need to improve, right, from answering the questions. But what I see a lot is that people answering these questions, they may not know the correct answer on the questions, and maybe more importantly, they don't know what to do with it, right? Maybe they bring in some Agile coach, give them some tips, but they're really struggling with this. So what we did roughly a year ago, actually, we're doing the same now again, is that we're doing this bottom up. So what we did was to talk with all the teams in a very chunky portfolio. It was roughly 40 teams. We asked them 61 questions from 11 different dimensions. And we did this in a tool called Menti. You could use any tool you like, but we did it in person. And the Menti tool, that ensured that people that were answering the questions were anonymous. And since we did it in person, we also had this dialogue coming up continuously. So I could talk around the different questions, give them a little bit of a coaching. And then as part of this, I want to trigger discussions, right? So I asked them to reflect. So after each chunk of questions, team members reflected on some improvement actions that they could bring in, and they did a voting. After the session, they were granted an export of the Menti, so with all the questions. Notice also here there are these waves here, so you can see what question that has most answers and less answers. So that gave the team lots of good topics to discuss. But then they was given this spider chart with some dimension analysis, and they got an immediate call for action, right? So they have answered the questions, they've dived in with some improvement actions, and I was very specific, saying that you own this. You as a team, you own your own growth journey, but you're encouraged to ask for help. Now, from the look of this, you may think of, okay, is it only the team questions, right? It was very much focused on the teams, but we also pitched in team questions around the art, around value delivery. So how are you organized? Are you having OKRs that you're following? So you can have not only team dynamics and backlog assessments and definition of done and definition of ready, also the wider perspective that the team was given input to. Okay, so we could be done there, right? We've done the team assessments. They know their strengths and weaknesses. They've got some improvement suggestions, and probably they had a discussion on how they can support us individuals. But I think we're not. We want more. So we got all this data, this anonymous aggregated data in a super chunky Excel sheet. And what every, good soldier, consultant soldier would do to say to the organization that, yeah, I will create tailorized improvements based on this, based on different roles that you have in your organization and the scope that you have. That'll take a lifetime, right? And also, I'm being honest to myself, I'm having issues to just come up with improvement suggestions without doing lots and lots of research. And maybe I'm also biased. If I was a consultant for a company, I'm biased with, who I'm reporting to and those kind of things. So then we got this wonderful blessing that the world has given us, AI, right? So it's great in analyzing data. It's great with the presenting recommendations based on the AI. But you could not just start with this right away, because I was working for a bank and huge warning signs, huge. Why? Because integrity is very important here in the EU. We have the GDPR, for instance, so you cannot just violate that. Also, lots of security regulations. You cannot just send things to an AI service somewhere and just spread data. But I went through all this. So with all the permissions and everything, we were using anonymity in the assessment responses. I cleared all the data from that we were sending with sensitive data, anonymous team names, for instance. So we're good. But there was one other key issue. This guy. Anyone been to Italy? No? It's a wonderful place. Yeah. Lots of these. Sorry? No, someone been to Italy?
Yes, Lauren Tuff's here. I've been.
Lauren, wonderful.
I'm half Italian, so.
Where have you been in Italy?
Rome, but the touristy places. But I've also been to where my Italian grandparents were from, in a really small village in Calabria.
Lovely. Have you seen any of those there?
See what? Sorry?
Did you see any of these people in that small town?
We were greeted by people like this who were waiting for us there.
All right. So when I think of this...
Oh, and I think Max has his hand up, by the way.
Go ahead, Max.
Io vorrei dire che sono di Roma, Italia, perciò non è solo che sono italiano, io sono proprio cittadino italiano. I am happy that my mother's from the city of Rome, so Italian's my first language. You Max, can't tell.
Yeah, yeah. So now you learned something about Max. When you get older, Max, you will be sitting on a park bench like that.
Exactly. And just talk to everybody. It doesn't matter if they want to talk back to me or not. I talk to anybody.
Okay, so the similarities why I come to think of this man is because to me it's very much conversational AI. He's friendly. Max is friendly. He talks a lot. I'm not sure. I don't know that good. Very convincingly, right? And corners are cut constantly, right? That's just the way how AI does. I don't know you, Max, if you're cutting corners, but that's how a conversational AI works, right? So notice my hair here. It's not so much hair. I lost all the hair when I was working with this due to this, right? And it will not regrow. So I'm sorry, but I came to realize with some reverse prompting that I need to help AI a little bit. So we need the structured data. We need it fit for purpose. So structured in a good way for this specific purpose with strict templates, right? We're making reports. They need to be looking the same way with the same, content, digesting the data, and also the predefined prompts. So having the same prompts all over. And then it went like a charm. So I have a small video here for you. See if it works. Go. Yeah. So this is the AI tool. It's Claude. I put in all the role descriptions from this company. Obviously, I washed them with sensitive data. I put all the data from the assessments in there. And then I also put some templates. So this is the RTE report template so that they look the same all over again. I provided some project instruction saying you're an expert, but you're humble. You should be action oriented when you're making suggestions. And I had a prompt here for RTE reports. I just simply replaced the art name with what I was going to present, do a report for. And then we're good to go. So just hitting go there will get AI to think a little bit. And obviously first it digests the data. It knows that this is an art of 2 teams. It's a fairly small art. So we need to dive through that and all other data in the assessment because we want to make comparisons. And I explicitly asked AI to do some deep diving into the detailed questions. So all these 60 questions, I wanted to have some detailed guidance around. So it started deep diving in that one and then started to craft the report. So some executive summaries. Everyone loves an executive summary with methods, call to action, an overview, talking about the strengths, some areas that needs improvements. Also, Claude was and is very good at visualization. So we got ourselves a heat map there, some priority improvement areas. Yeah, all these good stuff here from an overall perspective, derived from the same data. And then an action plan. So what are the low-hanging fruits that you could start off with, and what could be long-term commitments? And then some role-specific focus areas. And the goal, so the detailed analysis and recommendations. So this is where it plunges through each and every question and provides a recommendation, some cooperation across different teams. So it brings out what are the best greatest teams in this that you can learn from, for instance. So let's pause here for a minute and talk about this specific outcome. So this art was a little bit special. So I coached them in coming from a project methodology context to scaled agile context. So sometimes, due to culture and everything, they could be the victims of micromanagement, right? So this is why probably they rated low in psychological safety. So we got this low ratings. We got the top teams to learn from in different arts. So you can talk with those teams. How do you do psychological safety in a good way? And then some good recommendations. And I emphasize the recommendations here, right? This is just based on AI's knowledge. It's based on the data, and you need to use your brain. But it talks about some new technologies because I explicitly asked it to do so. For instance, Project Aristoteles. It's a great one. Maybe you want to have some chartering sessions, talking about communication norm and conflict resolutions. Maybe you want to, as an RTE, you want to train the Scrum Masters in psychological safety techniques. Maybe have some regular team health checks. And then this one, the empowerment, so they feel that they cannot decide themselves on things that they should be deciding on. Yeah, so maybe you want to work with product management and leadership, talking about this is what you're deciding about, this is what the team decides on. Maybe you want to have this matrices with authority matrices. Maybe you want to do this delegation poker exercises to calibrate things. And coach managers on servant leadership principles and team empowerment techniques. Right? So you get a lot of inspiration based on how your teams in your art has answered the different questions. So this is gold. Yeah, so now we got all kinds of reports for different roles in the organization. So for portfolio owners, for portfolio leads, PMs, and maybe, I don't know, more importantly, it depends on your setting, but the teams also get their own reports, right? Now, there is a line there that came from my brain. It says, AI inspires you. AI does not instruct you. So you need to be very, very explicit on this when you're sharing things, right? Because some people, they're reading a report saying, I must do this now because the report tells me to. So don't go down that route. Instead, use this as an inspiration and have your own brain working together with colleagues and bounce a few ideas. I'll provide some examples here. So, for instance, on a team level, it was saying that you need to increase the T-shaped skills. So maybe you want to have the code area rotations every 6 weeks. And the dialogue that I had with this specific Scrum Master was, won't this slow down development velocity initially? How do we maintain code quality? Are there any other teams that do this that I can talk to? Also, in the art level, they say that they have limited cross-art collaboration, lack of innovation. So then you do the classic SAFe technique to dedicate 10% of each PI for these cross-innovation experiments. So the same questions come there. How can I motivate time spending on this, right? What should I tell my managers? In practice, what does this mean? And then it triggers some thoughts. I heard about a hackathon in another art. Maybe this is something that I could use. Also on a portfolio layer. So we got this view that multiple teams, they report that, you're having lots of dependencies that goes outside your art. Maybe you want to analyze things and restructure things based on value rather than technical components or hierarchy. So then the dialogue triggered, interesting. What metrics can I use to show if this is true? How do we know what to restructure? How do we know what actions we can make? Maybe what political aspect should we take? I mean, this is a big leap, right? Interesting with this, I don't know about you, but my experience is that a lot of roles in an organization, mostly Scrum Masters, maybe some RTEs, they're just thrown into the role. Hey, you're a nice guy. You're a good facilitator. Why don't you take care of this? But they're lacking this experience. They're lacking the tools. You're sent to a training a few days, but you don't have this constant, inspiration. And maybe more importantly, you don't have the constant inspiration from the data that actually comes from the teams. So it's a big thing for people. I'm a friend of bottom up. So we also use this when realizing things. We ask the teams to reflect on the report. What makes sense in your context? Talk to your team members and your fellow Scrum Master colleagues. Set an improvement roadmap on things. Bring this to the art, saying, hey, we're going to do these things. These are things that we cannot do on ourselves, so we need help on an art level. Talk on that, and then bring that up to portfolio leaders, talking on things that we need to be solving on a portfolio context. Another quote here that I usually use is the follow through and follow up. Right? So with follow through, I mean that we need to have accountability on things that we're doing. So if we're setting actions, roadmaps, whatever it means, you need to have someone responsible for following it through. And then follow up. So actually we've been was quite successful this. So we're doing a new round. I'm not doing it, but the organization where I was is doing a new round this year, just to follow up on the improvements. Final slide, ladies and gentlemen. Some people, they call me the metaphor king. I'm not sure if that's a good or bad thing. But this is indeed a metaphor. So anyone here, can you see something strange with this picture?
Looks like lemon pound cake to me for some reason.
Sorry, George?
I said it looks like lemon pound cake to me for some reason.
Yeah,
It
could
There's
be.
a viral
The icing layer is like misaligned.
There
Yeah.
you go, Ben. It is. This is obviously AI generated, right? But it shows something very interesting. So if you're just taking a look at the cake from the side, from top, you can see that it's nicely decorated with, you know, all the sprinkles on top. It looks delicious. When you cut it through, the inside could look something completely different from just glancing from things, right? So this is why I think it's very key that you dive into things, not just with creating some fancy PowerPoint, talking with a few people. Dive into the organization, and ups and downs, all the layers of the organization should be taken into consideration when making improvement suggestions. That is my final slide, and I'm thinking, because I'll show you, I promised to show you also. I'll open up for questions and thoughts, but then I promised to also show you a tool that I've been working on for thousands of hours, and and it's doing this. But first up, if you have any thoughts or questions. Just
George had one in the chat. How did you converge your templates, and where is the feedback loop?
Could you please elaborate on that? Converge the templates? What do you mean with that? Sorry.
Well, you said that you'd gone through the process and you'd realized that you needed to have uniform templates.
Oh, yeah.
So
because,
there must have been some dialogue that occurred.
Yeah.
You designed that.
To be honest with you, George, I had this dialogue with my friend AI, right? So I crafted the templates with the use of AI, obviously with a chunk of dialogue, right? Saying you should have this, you should have that, you should not have this. And then I tried it out. So I sent a few samples to some key leaders, and they were sharing me some feedback. I want to have this. I don't want to have that. So it's a little bit of an iterative process.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. Does that answer your question? Yeah.
Yes.
Cool.
So Dom had a question in the chat. Could you please explain more about psychological safety in AI?
Yeah. Psychological safety is one of those buzzwords that are flying around. So it's the art of keeping people safe and secure in a context, typically a team, so that they can say whatever they feel like is not on their heart without being blamed, and those kind of things. But maybe the question was something else. So could you elaborate?
Like, I have seen many teams, they used AI and they got great answers, but they were still quiet. So when you said something about psychology safety, so I would like to know more from your experiences.
Yeah. I think psychological safety is a tricky one, right? You need to dive into this with your leadership skills and the context of your setting. But from an AI perspective, I think AI provides you some guidance on how you can build psychological safety in a good way. But I think you could be quite psychological safe when you're talking to an AI. It won't blame you. It'll be this Italian gentleman. Or maybe you had something else on your mind there. Did this answer your question, or?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
So Ludvig, I think, yeah, let's hop over to the tool, and if folks have other questions, feel free to share them in the chat, and we can cycle back to questions here in a bit.
Great. So the story of this one, it's called Improve Magic. I'm not sure about the name there, but maybe I could share it with chat here so you can check it out. improvemagic.com. So when I worked with this last spring, I got quite a lot of attention. I was around talking to different groups like you, and they were amazed. But they were having a little bit of an issue to get this into their daily work, because it's tricky. They don't want to lose their hair, right? So then I figured that I could create a tool for this, because it needs to be very structured. So I was starting to elaborating on that. Got a few test users in there providing me feedback. So ever since this summer, I've been working on this on my spare time with lots of coffee and late night. My family still loves me. So I'll walk you through this just for you to get a glimpse of it, and because you're free to request access, right? There's no costs associated to it. So if you go here, the core of everything is the assessments. So you bring in all the questions, and you can take a look at, for instance, player squad here using the Spotify model. It supports all framework models, not just safe. So they've answered these questions. And that's pretty straightforward, right? It's nothing sort of magic with that. But you could set up this with different organizations, different arts and teams, and then from this you could have a bunch of assessments. Now the sort of magic, if it could be called like magic, it's AI, right? Is when you're configuring your report here. So for instance, if you're the Scrum Master of this platform team, or maybe let's pick, we can pick a safe team here, fraud intelligence team. You've had a few assessments and you want to create a report on your latest one. So you can just click this one, but then it'll generate a standard report. So no AI, just predefined stuff here, but good stuff. So you get a radar chart, you get some insights, some dimension breakdowns, a roadmap, some detailed questions. So this is the good thing that we're talking about, with some actions, some pro tips, success stories. All the way through here, you get a lot of value with this. It brings in the assessment details that you've given to the tool. But when you put on the magic here, you can create a quick boost, which is pretty much an executive summary and the standard report. You could also do this enhanced analysis and provide some context. So from your team and your teams of teams, just to bring AI some context about your setup. And then what it does is that it sends all the data to AI, anonymized, of course. I also urge people to use anonymized team names. So it sends it there with all the detailed questions, with all the summaries and everything. It talks about this is a safe report. So we need to have safe specific guidance here. If you're having custom questions, which is also supported, you could have different phrasings of the questions. It sends that. It takes a little while because it needs to digest things. So while it is doing that, now let's wait. I mean, this is beautiful, isn't it? But compare this to if you would craft this yourself. I mean, that'll take 40 hours of consultancy work. What's that in dollars? I don't know. But I think the good thing with this is that you get this unbiased recommendations. So just it just takes a look at the data and then bring in these thoughts. So you get the first parts of this is something maybe you can talk to your managers, performance analysis, velocity impact, and those kind of things. Get the team profile, some business impact assessments, and then this 90-day plan. That is, a proposal from AI, what you could start with. So this is a quite good team, right? But it talks about starting with built-in quality. Some critical success factors. And this is tailored to your context, obviously. And then some future state projections, what you could become if you're improving things, and then the question analysis. So in this detail slides, you get some insights with links and everything to learning materials that you can digest. Now you can also do this on a team on team. Let's not go through that. But if you're an RTE if you're using, for instance, Spotify model here that is predefined for this one, then you get tailorized improvement suggestions as a role of this kind for using all the data. So it's another template, right? I think this is kind of good, but I think once you've got the report, maybe you have some follow-up questions. So maybe you want to talk about your platform team here, and you want to talk about your assessment. So maybe asking what are key highlights and what can I do to improve? Include learning articles. So since this is a safe assessment, it provides this as an input to the chat. It brings all the data in there, sends it to AI to digest, and then you can have a dialogue around it. Let's see if I could zoom in a little bit. If you're unable to see. Yeah. So then it talks about some key highlights. It's pretty straightforward, right? Similar to the report. But then you can say, well, what should I tell my boss? Right? And then it gets some, I have also tried to ask it for, an outline of a presentation, or if you wish that. Yeah, you get links here that you can go to if you want to learn more from different topics. If you want, you can also do this on a team-on-team level. You also have the organization chat, so you bring on the full organization here. And that'll bring all the data that you have for the full portfolio or organization that you're in. Now, I also love the dashboard functionality here that brings an executive view of things. So I've chosen the Nordic Bank Digital here, and I've put it to financial services, region North America. And then it brings out the health score comparison to other similar organizations, some top strength that you have in your organization, and some areas for improvements. You also have the improvement trends. So some teams here saying, hey, this is going good. The latest improvements are showing progress. Some performance on the arch. So we 2 arch in this one, and some overall knowledge about that. Some recommended focus area. And then you can chat about this at the very bottom. Yeah, obviously you have some analytics as well. I mean, you could get the different radar charts based on if you want to screenshot things to a presentation. Yeah, latest score, best score, or average score. Pretty much it. I've been having a lot of fun when doing this, I tell you.
Yeah, the tool looks awesome. We do have a few questions in the chat. So
yeah.
Lauren asks, as part of helping teams move toward better agility, are you also helping them to embrace AI in their work? And if yes, how are you going about this?
Yeah, great question, Lauren. I'm a pull-based person, right? So I don't want to tell people to do things. I want to inspire people to do things. So typically, when I'm working with coaching, when I'm talking with people, I show what I've done, just as I'm showing you. And then people get inspired. They're saying, how are you doing this? I want to learn more. And we're having a dialogue, and then that'll grow them and really brings out the best of people so that they could also be ambassadors on things. So I think showing is the best, especially when it comes to AI, because the magic really happens when you're able to show how it could be practically used, right? So when it could provide real value. Is that okay, Laura?
Yeah, nice. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
We have a question from Nawaz. What were the reasons of using AI as a coaching expert in your situation? Was there a lack of coaching competency in the org or trying to rebalance coach to coachee ratio?
Interesting, Nawaz. I think we have different perspectives on this, because I was sharing this for an organization full of agile coaches, right? And they were super triggered. They want to learn more. Most people wanted to learn more. And then one gentleman said, will we lose our jobs due to this? And obviously, no. All right. Probably you'll get more job to do, because when you're using this and when you're sharing reports or when you're spreading this tool or whatever you do, people will get lots of inspiration, lots of from the AI saying that you could try this, you could do that, and then they need someone to talk to, right? So probably you need someone to talk to. If that would be an agile coach or someone else that you trust, that's perfectly fine. But I think other people have different perspectives. And I recognize that this is another one. So then maybe managers, top managers, they want to use AI because they want to get rid of the AI coaches, the agile coaches, right? Because they're not needed when you have AI. We could argue about that, but that's an obvious business case for some. I'm reasoning that the improvements will leverage with the use of AI, because then you will get more and more inspiration and you'll get better in your roles. But different perspectives there on us. Is that okay as an answer?
Yeah, let's agree to disagree, because I get it, right? Like, because I am not anti-AI. I give talks on AI. But I think it's a totally different can of worms, right? Like but yeah, I do see the value in the tooling piece. I was just trying to understand, right? Like what problem is it solving and who is it solving for? But it's okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I think to be honest here, I don't think it solves any problems, right? Not automatically, right? It helps you to solve problems, I think.
Well, you seem to just use it to increase the speed to produce your initial report, and then you start discussing things with people. So
sure. Yeah. And also I didn't show you the RTE reports here, or the team of teams report, but that also comes with highlighting other teams in the organization who is excelling on this. So, and this was something that I seen also when I did this, was that silos were really breaking. Right? People were saying, okay, we're not very good at this. Who is good at this? Let's talk to that team. How are you doing this? So it really brings in this network of competence sharing.
Cool. That was, George, go ahead.
Oh, now I was just going to ask you, like, are you using AI for anything or experimenting with it, since you kind of asked? I mean, I think everybody seems to be playing with it a little bit, but
You were asking Navas or
yeah.
me? Yeah, Navas.
Yeah, I am so you see, I am and it would be a long discussion. Are you open? Because I need to run actually, in 5 minutes for next meeting. But I'm in the business of people, right? I'm in people business. I'm not in a tooling business. So I think I have a conflict of interest, right? Right. So I try to have conversations, right? And I try to build relationships, right? and I try to have real meaningful right outcomes. So I get it, right? Like AI is solving a lot of problems all over the world, and I do see, right, the merit of using AI as an enabler for doing certain things. But my question premises was more into what I was seeing a little bit of. I apologize, I joined a little late, so maybe I'm missing some context. But yeah, I was thinking of like, and I don't even care like what it means for coaches or for Scrum Master, for project managers, right? Because I myself has uh, um, have so many shifts right in my career, so I don't have a that bias, right? That my career is going to end right with AI. But I was thinking more from the people side of things, like right, like do we like this organization that is trying to use AI to actually uh, leverage some of the capabilities that you would mostly associate with the coaching practice? What actually problem it's trying to solve, right? Is do you not have enough coaches to actually have conversations, or real meaningful conversations with the teams or with the people, right, who need help or who need support? Or it is like maybe in execution, I think what you said earlier, right? Is it the speed? Like, because the things are moving, but maybe not at the pace where the organization wanted to move. So I was just trying to understand exactly what problem is it solving for the organization. Uh, but yeah, I think that is where I was coming from in my question. Like, I hope I answered what you were asking.
I think um, in my full 15 years working in different agile roles, it's always the same here with metrics. Yeah, we could do this agile, but what will it bring us as a company? And you could work with flow metrics, and you could try to have some value-oriented metrics. So that's nice. That's some metrics that you can show leaders saying, "Hey, we're improving." And maybe this is another cut to things, right? So you can also show if you're having assessments, and you can see how we're improvement in different aspects. Maybe that's also a metric that you could show, that your improvements, actions that you're putting into the organization, that it pays off. But it's a super tricky question, alas. We should probably have another session for that. Maybe a glass of wine or something.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. Definitely different. If someone has not asked a question, is there anyone who has not asked a question who is a burning thought on their mind? Feel free to post in the chat or come off mute. I'll take a pause. Okay, feel free to go in the chat there. I'm gonna ask because I am very curious about my experience with LLMs is the non-deterministic output of them. With your tool, do you experience that on run to run, or have you put in some guardrails with your data to ensure that you're getting essentially a pretty good report?
Yeah, that's a very good question, Ben. I think that's because some people ask me, "Hey, why can't we just use a regular LLM?" And I've experienced that with my hair loss. So no, that's pretty difficult, because you need to frame the data, and in the tool that I've created, it's all framed fit for purpose, and the prompts are very much tailorized to provide the correct answers, right? So it's the same over and over again. When you're doing the reports, you get the same predictable results, but it differs from the data that you provide. So I think that's the key difference, that you have the data in there that is structured so you can read it, and also then having the same prompts. So then you get predictable results.
Good.
Also, in the prompts, I'm saying, do not make anything up. Always go back to the data.
Very good. That's good to hear. And then I guess I'm kind of curious on LLMs and their writing style. So I've got a little bit of fatigue reading output from LLMs. I've noticed that people have actually started to come up with Claude plugins to essentially say, don't, do better on writing.
Yeah.
obviously much more than that. Like, have you dabbled at all in that, or is this
Yeah,
essentially just
yeah. If you're just having a simple prompt without instructing the AI something specific, then it rabbles. For instance, I've learned that if you're saying, "Dear AI, you're an expert in agile methodologies," don't do that. Because if you start the sentence with that, then it'll throw corporate bullshit words at you, right? So you need to prep the AI with saying, "Hey, you're talking business casual language, as you do between different colleagues to colleagues. You're also not using any fancy words, right? You should
I
make it,
sometimes
yeah,
I
go ahead.
sometimes ask for a Churchill summary or less than
Yeah,
so many lines.
yeah,
Like I've
yeah,
just
yeah,
started experimenting with AI over the last year or stuff, but yeah, it does seem to give you a book by
yeah,
default.
yeah. Because it's designed that way, right? So, but
Yeah.
usually I use reverse prompting as well. So I typically don't ask AI if I'm not in a rush. I don't ask AI to answer a question right away. I say, "Hey, have a dialogue with me," because you need to understand what I really want before you're answering.
Oh, cool.
uh,
And
so
you call
then,
that reverse prompting?
yeah, I think that's the way it's called.
Oh, okay.
cool? Well, we are almost at time, so last call for questions. I think we have time maybe for one more. And looks like we got one in the chat. So Dom asks, how did your facilitation skills change?
um, Interesting question. From the assessments, I take it that you're asking. I mean, it's kind of tricky to pull in the developer team saying, "Hey, I need 1.5 hours of your time to ask questions to you." So some of them were, a bit demotivated, but as soon as I had a good pace, I put in breaks, I made time for reflections and those kind of things. So I learned quite a lot from that. Yeah, is that okay, Dom? Yeah.
Excellent.
So
Well,
I just want to say this, Ben, and everyone, that I would be happy if you would contact me for a longer chat. This is why I'm here, because I want to learn from you guys. So feel free to request access to this tool. Let's have a chat and see how we can learn from each other.
thank you so much, Ludwig. Yeah, we will have by next week, this talk will be up on our YouTube channel. We'll have contact information in the description of the video, as well as post a link for contact information for Ludwig on the meetup page and linking to YouTube. So we'll have everything linked up, blasted out on the social media channels, all that good stuff. So Ludwig, thank you for joining us so late on a Friday. We really appreciate it. Yes, wine. I guess it's a little too late in the year for glug. Is that
Never too late for Glögg.
fair enough? But yeah, really appreciate your time. And the world is changing so much, and you're showing us just how it's changing. So really appreciate it. And yeah, exciting times. I'm kind of happy to be old in the industry at this point, but really love to see the change of pace. So very cool. Well, we
All
will
right.
see you next time. And yep, Ludwig, thanks again.
Thanks very much. See you
All
around,
right.
folks.
See you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.